Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for attending our Parent Guardian Connection meeting this afternoon. I am Kiosha Simmons, parent advocate for Pinellas County Schools. So this group has been created to provide a virtual forum where we can all connect and enjoy organic conversations while connecting and fellowshipping with families across Pinellas County. Our goal is for each family to feel supported, to share resources, to be engaged, and to connect with like minds. Today, I'm very confident that this topic is something that we can all relate to. So before we get started, I have just a few housekeeping tips. All questions can be placed in the chat box. We will dedicate the last 10 minutes to questions or comments that you all may have. Please be sure to stay muted. This meeting is being recorded and will be available on our website at pcsb.org/parent advocacy. We would love for you to keep your cameras on if that's an option for you. Also, you can hover over your screen. And where you see the 3 dots, you can rename your screen to your actual name instead of having your phone number or whatever might just automatically populate. We will have a couple of breakout rooms to provide an opportunity for collaboration. Each breakout room will provide 4 minutes for discussion. Each group will need to select one person to report out to the rest of the group. When you go into the breakout rooms, you will need to unmute, so keep that in mind. And take a few seconds to introduce yourself before you all start your conversation. When we return to our main room of presenters, you will need to make sure that you unmute yourself before you begin to report out to all of us. So now that we have all of that out of the way, we are going to get started. The topic for this meeting is school is in session, now what? So the start of the school year is generally a very fun and exciting time. This year we had so much to consider. We have all been stretched in ways that made us doubt how we could possibly make it through the remaining months of 2020. If this year has taught me anything as a mom of 3, it's definitely taught me the importance of maintaining a fluid mindset within a structured mind. And that can be very tough. There were days that I questioned my ability to keep up with my responsibilities to my family, my career, and even myself. So today we're going to discuss some of the ways that you can set yourself up and your family for success throughout the 2021 school year. Whether you're learning at home or returning to school, this meeting will assist you in establishing a plan for this school year. Okay, Sheila. Next slide. Okay. So today we are going to dig a little deeper into the following topics: parents, teachers, and student expectations for the first month of school, building successful plans for parent-driven outcomes, meal planning and nutrition, and what about a parent buddy? And finally, we'll conclude with upcoming Parent Academy workshops. Next slide. So it is important to attend your child's beginning of the year meetings. For myself personally, those meetings kicked off last night with open house. So this year, those meetings are going to take place virtually. So it kind of makes it easier than ever to attend. The meetings will give you an opportunity to learn more about your child's teachers, what their expectations will be, and the expectations you should have of your child's academic success. But don't stop there. Be present all year long. Be sure to make time to introduce yourself to the teacher, whether it's via email or face-to-face probably just won't happen. So we have to be creative. Keep in mind, if your child has a 504 or an IEP, I would strongly encourage you to share this with your child's teacher via email. just to keep it fresh in their minds. They are given all the information, but the beginning of the year can be very overwhelming. So let them know what your areas of concern are. It is equally important to have conversations with your child to discuss what your expectations are of them. Have them create a list of goals. This will give them something to look forward to throughout the school year. Also discuss their positive and negative consequences that will be implemented if they stay the course or if they become a little derailed. We know this year will be frustrating at times and it will test our patience, but we must continue to keep an open line of communication with the teacher and also with our child. And don't be afraid to ask questions. I cannot stress that enough. If you're not sure of something or you notice your child is struggling in any area, reach out to the teacher first. From there, the teacher will direct any concerns that they are unable to give you an adequate answer towards the school-based leadership team. Next slide. So now we'll have our first breakout room question. My colleague Sheila Kane will be popping in and out of the rooms to check in to see how things are going. If you requested an interpreter for this meeting, when you enter the meeting room, please press leave room. Please press the leave room button and you will be redirected back to the general session with your interpreter. Our first discussion is what are ways to stay connected to your child's teacher. So make sure you remember to unmute, introduce yourself, and identify one person to be the presenter. Okay, Sheila, we're all set.
Does anyone need an interpreter? I haven't found the consumer, Miss Kane, so I don't know if anyone needs an interpreter yet. I haven't seen anyone.
So Jennifer, did you get that we were asking her to come back out into the main room so she could find you there because we couldn't pre-assign you to
Have you found her? Have you found her?
I don't know who she is, so
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Dion? That's my supervisor, Miss Meyer.
She's on, yes, I see her.
Yeah.
Hi, I apologize. I just got home, so I'm just trying to get on and make sure you guys got on.
We were all fine. We don't know if she's actually in the meeting, but on the breakout session, there's no way of like setting up a session. Like I go with her, so she was to leave the meeting and meet me, but
Let me text her and see if she can respond to that.
Just know that I'm here. I feel like I'm in a breakout meeting right now and I don't know how to fix it, but I think I'm in the main meeting.
You are in the main meeting because that's what I'm in.
Okay. She didn't text me, so I'm assuming that.
So I'm new to this Zoom thing. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, I can.
We're in a breakout session right now. That's why nothing's happening.
Okay.
I was in one of them, but I couldn't hear anything, so I've dialed back in.
I was also in one of the breakout rooms, and it was empty.
Maybe it was mine.
It was room 7.
Hi, same here.
So maybe I missed the point of the breakout rooms. I apologize, but I'll be the guinea pig here. So the question was, what now? I'm a parent who has 2 8th graders who are logging into school from home. They were in a class yesterday where I guess a hacker got in, called everybody some serious names, told all the children that they had stolen their ID, and then said they were going to kill them all before the teacher shut down the Teams meeting. So
Oh, that's scary.
yeah, the kids were terrified. The girls were crying. The kids were posting messages on the chat saying things like, if you come to my home, I'll fight you. And I'm thinking, wow, these little children are planning on how to defend themselves against a killer. My daughter was shaking. It was stunning. So supposedly it's under investigation. It's one of the reasons why I've joined today, because I think it's time I started paying attention also to how we're doing this unprecedented schooling. I mean, it's funny, right? You have a community officer, or whatever you call it, at the school with a gun. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but my point though is that I guess we have to think about how to protect the kids at home as well. I can't stand over their shoulders, but I'm actually working in the same room that both of my kids are taking school in, and it is the best I can do is to just try and pay attention, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm maybe doing better than others, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it must be pretty stressful. You know, you're trying to do what's best for your child and for your family, and then there's hackers that are getting into the system. That's definitely something that's scary.
Yeah, not the school's fault, not the teacher's fault, but
No.
you know, one of
exactly.
those things where, okay, lesson learned, let's, you know, rewind and figure it out. And I think the reason why the chat went on so long is because, and this is not a fault, this is a lesson learned, I think, is that once the teacher starts up the Microsoft Teams video chat meeting, the teacher has a classroom full of students. And so at this point, they've now sort of turned to the students that are in the classroom, and maybe they're explaining or they're writing something on the whiteboard or whatever the case may be. And what they don't realize is there's a whole bunch of chaos going on because you would normally expect 8th graders to behave, so you don't have to babysit them. And so I don't think the teacher knew what was going on until he looked back and saw that in the chat that girls were posting things saying, I'm crying and shaking, and why isn't this stopping? and people
Wow.
asking if they should leave the chat. Yeah. So I think one of the lessons learned, I guess, is and I don't know the answer, but to maybe figure out a way to do something that teachers aren't used to doing, which is keep looking back at a computer every couple minutes while they're trying to instruct a room full of students, right?
Does anyone know if there's someone that's like monitoring these rooms, like these team things? Because I know that the teachers are very busy teaching both online and in classroom, but is there
Yeah.
anybody that's kind of overlooking or monitoring these like as a whole?
I'll bet it's a huge burden. I'll bet it's something, I mean, I'm a lay person.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, I am certified data privacy attorney for USA, and not
Okay.
trying to like hijack the call or anything, but I'm just saying that this is probably something that wasn't thought about. And from the things that I've discovered in getting my courses and getting certified in my job, most of these kind of things happen because nobody thought of it yet, because it's unusual or strange, or
Yeah.
this situation no one's ever dreamed of. This isn't online learning. That
Yeah.
we're not. This is something else. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I totally get it. My son is attending school in person, but they're also having them do a lot of online things as well through
Mhm.
Canvas and different platforms as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now the lesson is, even though we all got away from Zoom, I mean, we're on Zoom today, but we all got away from Zoom because Zoom has known vulnerabilities. Now we're finding out that Microsoft Team has known vulnerabilities as well. And by the way, one little piece of advice I can give the teachers is that when the student, like, set your Microsoft Teams up so that you have to admit the students one at a time as they click, right? Then there's a request to the teacher.
Yes.
And to not admit anyone with guest next to their name, which is how this happened. Again, not a teacher's fault. Just you assume that all the kids and all the people in the system are the students. So as they're asking to join, you just blanket let them in. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Another parent friend of mine let me know. I guess kids were going on social media and sharing their the invite codes.
Oh, jeez.
Last year they were sharing it, so there was kids that were attending the classes that actually didn't even belong to the school or to that class.
Oh, geez. Yeah. So we're just going to learn this as we go. But I think your question was a good one. Is anyone watching this? I don't think anyone is. I don't even know how anybody could. And so I can't. And maybe they're probably good answers. I just don't know what they are.
I gotcha. Yeah, because right now, with the whole cyber thing and cyberbullying and everything, the kids are very vulnerable, especially in the middle and high school,
Mhm.
age bracket. There's a lot of, vulnerability with these children. And I mean, even elementary school. And it's like if they're doing the, the security guard at the school, what is being done to safeguard, the children that are online as well.
Mhm. Yeah, interesting, right? I mean, who thought?
Yeah.
Who knew that you
Exactly.
have to extend beyond the campus itself? Yeah. So.
Exactly.
So other than that, I think so far things are going way better than last semester when nobody knew what they were doing, meaning all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll throw it out there and then I'll mute and let everybody else talk. But my experience in the spring was that my actually very honest, decent, hardworking children took total advantage of the situation on me, lied to me pretty much every day that they were doing their homework and their assignments. And I trusted them completely. And I think that it's not they were bad kids or that they didn't know what they were doing. I think that they realized that they didn't really have to do anything because nobody was enforcing it. And so this semester is going much different. I think the teachers are more on top of it and the kids seem to be a little bit more involved. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah,
What's everybody
absolutely.
else's experience? And I'll mute.
All right, wonderful. I'm so happy to hear this dialogue. This is exactly what we want. We're just going to now kind of bring it back for everyone to take part in this dialogue and conversation. So if we could have, we did request for one presenter from each breakout room to just briefly discuss what are some of your takeaways So if we can just you will have to unmute in order to begin speaking, but I'm unable to see exactly who it's going to be. So just go ahead and unmute if you are the chosen one from your group. Thanks.
Chancellor, there was only me and one other person in our group, and that was great. So it was just the two of us, and I actually got on a little late, but as far as staying connected to the child's teacher, I know that I'm able to email back and forth. My daughter did something about connecting my email with something, so she's like back and forth with the teachers as well. And since my children I have my daughter who's in 8th grade, but I also have my granddaughter who's in the 3rd grade, and she gets dropped off here. So I have both of them in class all day. I'm able to just jump on the chat. If I have a question and I hear it, it going on, I have her just type in the chat, can you please ask your teacher something, so that I can try to keep up with it, because I'm glad that my daughter is able to manipulate and work her way through this computer system. The summertime was very hectic, and it was totally different, and I did not like it at all. I mean, I actually hated it, to be honest. Okay. It was hard trying to keep her on track and to have a child get up and say, okay, she has one class at 9 o'clock, but then she doesn't have another class until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm trying to go about my day, but I'm setting alarms. Now for her to be able to follow a schedule just like she's in school is much, much better. And she's able to manipulate everything better and stay on task.
Absolutely.
That I have my 3rd grader that I'm actually having to sit with her in class all day in order to keep her focused and to learn myself, as well as teach her how to manipulate the computer and leave from this class to go into this class, and then we got to go here to do this lesson, to go do that lesson. It's very overwhelming. Sure. And for my child, she's not a computer learner. She does need that interaction with the teacher, so I'm glad the teacher is actually on the screen at least. But it's very challenging, and especially with me and myself. I have my own nonprofit organization that I have going on. I also have a business with my husband, but now I'm stuck in class all day. So this whole situation is I know it's very overwhelming for the teachers and the staff and everything, but it's very overwhelming for a parent as well, especially if you're not a teaching type parent. That's not my forte.
Right. And that is so true. And I can totally, sympathize with exactly what you're saying. And the beauty of this is, as the weeks go on, we will see our children stretch and become more comfortable. But seeing that it's still early, it's week 2. And honestly, the first 10 days is really just kind of getting to know each other, identifying what those routines and strategies are going to be. And, maybe today is Thursday. So I would say tomorrow, if you want to try, and this is just a suggestion, instead of sitting side by side with her the entire day, maybe say, okay, I'm going to help you log in first thing in the morning, and then I'm going to walk away for a few minutes, and then you walk away, maybe be in close enough proximity to where you can hear what's going on and step in if there is some type of concern.
I have to walk away anyways, because you have to remember I'm being the teacher and I'm also the cafeteria personnel. So I gotta get breakfast, lunch, snack, we gotta take breaks, so I am leaving. But then when I come back, it's like, okay, what's going on? And she was like, I'm not sure.
Right.
So it's overwhelming for her. You know what I mean? And then the computer may freeze up.
Right.
The internet may go down.
Sure.
And it's a lot.
It is, and it's something, and you're not alone. I mean, I'm literally witnessing the same thing in my house, so I understand. And one of the things that I say often is we just have to continue to just show grace and patience and know that this will improve. I do have enough faith in our teachers to know that and let her teacher know, you know, that she may be struggling with keeping up, or if you take advantage of the chat that the teacher is providing as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh,
Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Ms. Simmons. I'm sorry for interrupting, but there was another comment regarding some concerns about safety for the ones that's on my PCS online. I know, Ms. Simmons, if you want us to continue to have some additional, we can at the end.
Right.
I do want to hear those other parents' concern regarding those pieces.
Yes, so we can definitely stay on at the end to continue that conversation. And I am going to also type my email address in the chat. That way, if you all have anything that you want to discuss personally, I'm sorry, I need to change this, but I will make it available to you all. So if we can have someone from another group report out maybe about 1 minute synopsis. I'm sorry, but I want to make sure we're able to cover everything this afternoon.
Sure, if you don't mind, I can cover the breakout room 2 that we were in. So I was actually in the room with Ms. Kiosha and I believe Ms. Valerie, and we were discussing how we all three keep in touch with our teachers, and it's all different. So my son is 5, just started kindergarten, and his teacher is wonderful, Miss Linz at Oakhurst. And we get in touch with Class Dojo, and all hours. It's been great. Anytime she has a question, we have a question, we correspond. She needed a photo of him for a class project. I just took a photo right then and there and sent it. So much better than walking to Walmart and trying to get everything done. So my approach is, you know, with the app on the phone, it's working great. So the other, you know, 2 participants in my group, they mentioned that one of them, you know, went in person, met the teacher earlier last year to build a rapport, and, you know, gets in touch with the teacher that way. And Ms. Kiosha was reporting how her daughters are a little bit older, so she's more in the monitoring, not trying to be a helicopter. So depending on the age, depending on the school, you know, everyone's got a slightly different approach to interacting with the teacher. And I think you just have to find the one that works and works reliably. And some people are not able to handle too much information all at once. And some people want to be informed every day and then by the minute if something happens. And for right now, in our case, my son is doing the virtual school with his teacher that, you know, eventually he'll hopefully see in person. And so we do get notified throughout the day, okay, we're not doing the 11:50 meeting, or we're changing the 12 o'clock meeting to do this. So it's actually extremely helpful. And you know, like the person before me, yeah, I'm also doing this from home, and it is extremely difficult to monitor a 5-year-old and get on a computer and make sure and things like that.
Right.
And there's no easy answer, but we're all doing it, unfortunately.
Yes, thank you so much. And if we have one additional group that maybe wants to share out.
Hi, I was in a breakout room, but I was the only one there, so I have nothing to report.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
If that happens in the future, you all can just request to leave the room and go back out to the general session.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, Crystal, you and I were talking, so don't say you were all by yourself.
Yes, I wasn't by myself. I had Sheila there with me.
And we talked so long that I said it was too late for me to
Yeah.
bump her over to another group, but
Yeah.
I know we can do
Okay,
that.
that's why we didn't see you, Sheila.
Right.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much. So we'll just kind of keep going on to our next topic. All right, so just, you know, to do an overview, ways to stay connected, making sure that you're emailing the teacher is always good. Class Dojo was something that I learned more about today, and the fact that, you know, it's an app that is downloaded, you can download directly to your phone or to your whatever device you're using to get those updates. And it seems like a very good resource to have. Scheduling a virtual conference is also something that you can do. If you write a note in your child's agenda, you know, with fundamental schools, they require the agenda to be seen every day. So if that is not the case for your school, maybe send the teacher a quick note stating, hey, please check out, you know, Zoe's agenda book today. I wrote a message for you, okay? And then leaving a message for the teacher at the school that your child attends is also another option that you have. So keep those things in mind, very, very important. Okay, next slide. So building successful plans for parent-driven outcomes. It is important to create a routine at home for school days. Creating a schedule and routine will empower your family to know that everyone has an important role. So have family meetings to discuss and establish the following. Set goals for the year. So have your child create a list of maybe 4 to 5 things that they want to improve upon, or just goals that they have in general for this year. Maybe it's completing all their homework on time, or trying out for an extracurricular activity, or learning a foreign language. Whatever their goals are, be sure to support them along the way and talk through what it takes to obtain these goals. Discuss regular homework time with your children, whether your child is attending traditional school or MyPCS online. They will be assigned homework more than likely. So students should stick to a schedule. And I know sometimes we don't want to believe it, but our babies do thrive in a structured environment. So we want to make sure that they are sticking to a schedule and completing their homework assignments in a timely manner. And create a comfortable and quiet workspace. It doesn't matter. It can be the corner of the table in the dining room. If that's what you have available for them to use, let them know that this is your spot. This is an area that you can come to just break away and get your work done. And set a bedtime. So research has shown that elementary age kids should get between 10 to 12 hours of sleep each night. Teens should get between 8.5 and 9.5 hours of sleep. And something else to keep in mind is just establish a time limit for the amount of tech time and play time outside of their school day that you're going to allot for your children. Okay, next slide. All right, so our next breakout is going to be discuss successful strategies you've implemented in the past, or ideas that you may have for the start of this school year for your family. All right, Ms. Sheila, we're all set.
Jennifer, should I put something in the chat for your client to come back?
I said it to him. I said, if you need an interpreter, just get out of your room.
Okay.
And Deanne texted me. She said, the names are the Muellers, Stone, and maybe Patterson. So there's a possibility of like 3 families.
Wow. Well, nobody in there, the way they logged in, has anything that looks like that or any of those.
Okay.
So.
Shouldn't have said their name. You're recording this. Didn't even think about that.
Oh. All right, I'm going to jump around and make sure the groups are doing okay.
Okay.
I think we all just got kicked out.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Candy.
All right. So if we can have the same thing, a couple of presenters to share out some of the things that you all discussed on strategies that you're implementing to kind of get back in your routine for school. Make sure you unmute. Anyone sharing out? So can I call on Lisa from my group? Not to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot, Lisa. You had some really great things that we have those commonalities. Would you?
We do have it in common, and I'm really glad to hear that you're doing the same thing, because it kind of helps me get it. So yeah, what I'm doing with the kids, and it's not aggressive. It's really trying to make it a very normal day. Mine are both 8th graders, and they have to get out of bed, take a shower, put on the kind of clothing that they would wear to school, hairbrush, deodorant, the whole bit, have breakfast, clean up their mess in their room if they have one, and make their beds. And then if they can get to their computers before 9:40, when class is supposed to start, then they can play on their computers until class starts. And I feel like it's making their lives normal-ish. And so far I haven't had any pushback. Yeah, a little grumping, but they also kind of learn to keep the rooms a little cleaner, because it's a little easier in the morning if they don't have to clean up after themselves, right? And you're having the same experience, right?
Absolutely. And that was one of the things that Lisa and I discussed. I have a daughter that's in 7th grade and one that is in 3rd grade, and they have the same structured schedule. First thing they get up in the morning, tidy up your room, brush your teeth, wash your face, get dressed, make your breakfast, make sure your learning environment is nice and clean. And the other thing that I shared is in the afternoon, generally once I get home from work, because they're home right now doing my PCS online, we always go for a walk or a bike ride, just so that they're getting out, they're getting some sun. And that also gives us the time to just kind of decompress from the day and maybe have a nice little talk about what's going on with our day. So thank you so much, Lisa. Do we have any other group presenters?
Thank you.
No? All right. Okay, well, that was good. So just to kind of recap that information, something to keep in mind, the importance of devising a bedtime routine based on your child's age, okay? So some students, their day may start a little earlier. Our high schoolers get started at 7 in the morning. And the little guys, their day usually starts about 8, but then middle school, their day generally doesn't start until 9. So I guess it kind of all depends on what time you have your children get up each day, but it is so important to have a bedtime routine and create an area, again, that is free of distractions and clutter. Again, even if it's just a corner of the table, be sure that they know this is their area to use to focus and to complete things in a quiet manner. It's a good idea, I would say, to have supplies and reference charts available, multiplication charts available, possibly periodic table. There are so many different references that they may need. It could be stages of writing. So those are just a few examples. Also discuss the importance of a designated homework time. And again, it may fluctuate depending on the age of the student. Elementary students may receive a packet for the week, whereas high school and middle school students may be on a block schedule, and they kind of have to figure out a way to, do their A-day homework on Tuesday and B-day on Monday. You just never know. So talk through those routines and setting up those schedules with them, making sure that they know the importance of staying at a pace schedule. Just as easily as an adult can become overwhelmed, our children can as well. So that's very important to know. And include your children in this process. All students should also be reading outside of their school day for at least 20 minutes each night. Reading outside of their school day benefits them tremendously with their vocabulary and also just building their reading stamina. Okay, Ms. Sheila. Okay, and so we're just going to talk a little bit about meal planning and nutrition. It's so important to make sure that your family is eating well-balanced meals as best we can. Ms. Sheila, you can go to the next slide. All right, so be sure to start your day with, and your child to start their day with a well-balanced breakfast. So be very intentional if you can about meal planning and prepping. So include your child in the planning. It's important to make sure that they're eating a well-balanced breakfast and lunch. Schools will provide traditional lunch options for the students that are in the traditional school building, as well as meal distribution sites for my PCS online learners. So for more information about that, please visit the pcsb.org website, click on the Food Services tab, and you'll be able to get a variety of tools and various calendars they have with the food that will be served at school. For additional at-home tips, you can learn more by visiting choosemyplate.gov/kids, choosemyplate.gov/kids. All right. And then there's another resource, which is called Kids in the Kitchen, which is pcsb.org/at-home resources. Again, that's pcsb.org/at-home resources. So next slide, I'm sorry. So plan your menu for the week, include your children, some ideas, oh, I'm sorry, go back one. Okay, thank you. So a couple of ideas just to think about. Delivery, to make things easier for yourself. Delivery and curbside pickup options. If you're trying to stay on a budget, this is something that I would encourage you to do. That way, maybe, you know, on a Sunday or a Saturday afternoon, you create your list, you all talk about what you want to cook for the week. And while you're filling your grocery cart, you can see exactly how much you're spending. So it's a great way to think about, you know, your budget and how you can save. It's time saving. Instead of spending your Saturday morning in the grocery store, you know, if possible, you can just place that order online, pick it up, have them deliver it to your house. So just think about ways that to make life a little easier for you if possible. And then also the safety component. Sometimes we forget those last minute things, and you know, you worry about being out or pulling your kids out of the house at night to go run and pick all that stuff up. So it can really be a great option to have the delivery and curbside pickup. And find crock pot recipes. And I know we all are big fans of the air fryers and slow cooker recipes. These are all things that can help us save time, to bring more time back to yourself, mom, dad, guardian. It's so important that you think about this. Prepare meals in abundance if you're able to over the weekend, something that you can store in the freezer and then just pull out one day during the week if it's needed. Something that I keep in mind at all times is there's always room for a good soup and sandwich type meal during the week if I'm on a time crunch. That is something that I always add to my routine. All right, next slide. So again, the beginning of the school year is filled with uncertainties. If you find yourself unable to maintain the schedule that you've created, it is okay. Show yourself some grace. I can't say that enough. Dust yourself off, try it again. Assess your plan periodically, making sure that you sit down with your family, maybe make it a family meeting, and check in with your children to see how things are going. They may want to provide some input. They may have some things that they need to discuss. You as well may have things that you would like to discuss with them. This is a great way to let your kids see that their opinion matters too. Next slide. So when life gets busy, and we all know that it does, it would be good to have a buddy to count on. We will now hear from Dr. Valerie Brim, Director of Strategic Partnerships. She is going to tell us more about the great new initiative, Parent Buddies. Over to you, Dr. Brim.
Good evening. And thank you. Okay, our next slide. Again, I'm Dr. Valerie Grimm, and I'm the Director of Strategic Partnership. And I want to talk about a parent buddy. And just listening tonight, I just was just so overwhelmed with just listening to our parents and our families try to juggle all of these life issues. And I remember I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a working parent, and it was very overwhelming trying to juggle daily schedules to accommodate activities and sports and home activities, and now COVID-19. And I did not expect in the middle of that I would have to be at home trying to finagle teaching with my students to make sure there's no learning loss. And then now going back to the school, the worration of not only are they learning, are they staying ahead of the game, but also if the environment is safe. All of those pieces are so overwhelming. So we decided to start or create an initiative called Parent Buddy. And the whole purpose of a Parent Buddy is to add another support infrastructure so that it will end up as an outcome of my child being successful. So our goal and purpose for Parent Buddy is finding that person that can support you as a parent and support you as a family, that can support your child academically, that given permission can be of a liaison between communicating with the teacher, the family. And there was one person that indicated, I don't know if she's still on, about how she trusted her kids to say when my homework was done or my assignments were completed, they were completed with excellence, only to find out they were incompleted. The parent probably, or including me, didn't know how to navigate the system to check all of those pieces. But to be able to have a person to ensure that not only are the assignments completed, but completed with excellence. Having the ability, if given permission, and we'll talk about that permission piece, to just casually talk to the teacher. Did Johnny complete this assignment? Because I'm the parent buddy and I can communicate to the mom that no, Johnny didn't quite complete the assignment up to excellence. Or connecting the families to the resources that sometimes we often need, but cannot navigate the system to find. But it's very important to understand a parent buddy is not someone that comes into your space and remove your power of engagement. This person is designed to be there as a support. No, this person is not a runner. It's not a messenger, but they are there to focus on making sure during this time of fluid situations, of educating our students, that we are keeping our kids engaged in learning at a high, efficient level. So a parent buddy can be a level 2 volunteer. What do I mean by a level 2 volunteer? All the volunteers that will be participating in the buddy system will be fingerprinted to ensure the safety of this virtual interaction. That it could be, we'll be recruiting retired teachers that have the knowledge of the academics, retired businessmen who know math or science or engineers, mothers and grandmothers and substitute teachers. So we will be looking for a wide range of buddies that can assist with what we are trying to do. These persons, again, can be tutors in math and science and reading. If your child needs to be engaged a little bit more in reading, making sure they bring books to the table, go on online reader, listen to them as they read. When do these buddies operate? They can operate just based on the collaboration with the family or the mom or the father. When is it that I need my buddy the most? Or what is it that I need my buddy to do? So we'll talk about, so the next slide. So how does this work? The first thing that we will need to do, we will do is that we will send out a survey to our families to say, would you like, or do you think you will need a parent buddy? In that Microsoft form, it will be asking, what are your needs? Because all of our needs are different. My children might be very savvy in the academics, but just lazy. So it's just where I might need somebody to pop in a couple of times of the week to make sure that they're staying on top of the assignment and completing their assignment with excellence. The parent, the student, and the parent buddy will be required to attend a training. Why is this important? Because we want to make sure everyone remain in their lanes, that no one crosses over and think they're the parent, or vice versa, or no student thinks that they can usurp the authority while the buddy is trying to assist. So how does all of this work? How do we find the perfect match to gel the buddy with the family for that support? Then we will be planning what we call a virtual parent-student buddy meeting so that we are all on the same page. The buddies will be required to fill out a profile sheet describing their skills. Sometimes it might not even be where the family just need a tutor or someone to check in, other than just, I am so busy, I'm juggling so many different things. I just need another adult just to check in every once in a while, or to be like a mentor. So it can cross different lanes, but it has to be within the parameter of what we describe. Earlier, I would say, if the parent give us permission, this has to be a permission to participate, because normally a volunteer or a retired educator just can't arbitrarily go to a teacher and ask about your student's performance. And that's going to be very on a light edge. It's more going to be about, did Johnny complete their assignment? Did they complete the assignment online? Or if a parent might say, I still don't get the understanding of the assignment, how then can we do a virtual meeting with the teacher to get a better understanding of an assignment? So it is always about a parent giving permission and all parties involved knowing that permission and knowing their roles. The ability to be communicating in a liaison kind of manner to support that family and that student. Our goal is to begin to send information out about mid-September. Why is mid-September? One of the things that our district is doing, we're trying to avoid essential, non-essential individuals like our volunteers or our boosters or our PTAs from actually launching anything until the first 9 weeks, because it's going to give that family and the school district opportunity to not only be moving forward, but to work out those necessary kinks. Or if parents, like one parent, would like to move back to brick and mortar opposed to online. But we're looking to actually launch that buddy system October 5th. We're starting with a small selection to make sure that before we open up to everyone that is working that we will be using the Zoom platform that is easily accessible by a link. The schedule that must be planned and set in stone so that our buddy is just not popping on at any given time other than the time and the days that have been designated. So all of those pieces are going to be key with the collaboration of the parent and the student and the buddy. Next slide. So this is going to be very important. Again, we will be sending out what we call like a survey to find out, yes, I would like a buddy. No, I don't want anybody that close. But if you have any questions before you make any decisions, whether you're interested or not, you can email me at bramv@pcsb.org, or you can call directly to the office at 588-6405 and ask any individual questions that you might have. But it's called a parent buddy, that we want our parents to be able to juggle all the things with an assurance that our students are being supported, our families are being supported, and our students are not losing. There's no learning loss. I apologize. So I think I'm completed in my presentation. Ms. Kane?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Brim. This is going to benefit so many families within our district. I'm really excited to partner with you in making sure that this is a true success. All right, so please continue to stay connected to our department for upcoming parent academies that is brought on by our family engagement coordinator, Ms. Sheila Kane. These meetings will take place via Zoom and will be, they will start 5:30 and it's just only 1 hour, so they will conclude by 6:30 p.m. So for additional information, you can visit www.pcsb.org/parent academy. I am not going to take the time out because we're right at 6:30. So I don't want to hold you all up too long, but just take a look. 3 of the dates are already posted. Our first Parent Academy is taking place on September 15th. And the next will be September 29th and then October 13th. And the dates for the last 2, Equitable Engagement and Move the Dial, those dates are to be determined. So please make sure you stay connected with us by visiting our PCSB Parent Academy webpage. All right, next slide. So now I would like to make sure that we provide an opportunity to open this up for our forum up for any questions or comments that you all may have, or if you just want to discuss some of your takeaways from this meeting. Myself and Dr. Brim are willing to stay on to make sure that we hear you out in totality. If you do not have any questions or concerns at this time, on behalf of the Office of Strategic Partnerships under the direction of Dr. Valerie Brim, we would like to say thank you again for being a part of today's discussion. We're excited to continue this work in the future. And again, we encourage you to contact our department for any additional information or any topics that you may have. So do we have any questions at this time?
No, I just want to thank you. I've never attended one of these. I didn't know what to expect, and it was way beyond what I was hoping for.
Oh,
So
awesome.
this was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
I plan to attend the next. So yes,
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we'll definitely keep you posted. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
You too. Any other questions? I'm going to look in the chat to make sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a specific place in the website where new parents and new guardians, because I have a kindergartner and it's my first year with the county and everything, so I'm just trying to participate as much as I can, but I don't know exactly where to go. This was my first meeting. I'm new.
Sure. So you can look within our department on the PCSB.org webpage. If you go under, and I know I'm probably, Sheila, Dr. Brin, please help me out if I'm getting this wrong. It would be under Get Engaged. And then you can see Family and Community Relations. We have a variety of resources that you can just kind of go through. If you ever have any questions in general about things that are happening in regards to your son or daughter, you can always reach out to me personally as a parent advocate to answer just general questions that you may have. But I would definitely encourage you to just check out our PCSB.org webpage. It's under Get Engaged, Family and Community Relations.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. Do you have any other questions or comments, takeaways? All right. Well, if not, that is it for this evening, and we will be sharing our flyers very soon for our upcoming Parent Academy for the month of October. Should you have any additional questions or concerns, my email, I'm sorry, Ms. Kane, if you can go to the next slide. My email is provided here. I am always available, and I really do appreciate you all taking time out of your schedules to take part in today's Parent Guardian Connection. Take care, have a great evening, and be safe.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.